Hey guys, this is my weekly report for May the 9th. So first of all, I'm going to tell you what I did this week a little bit. I've been really busy doing my consultant thing with clients, taking them out, showing them their electronics. And so far, everybody's just been overwhelmed because they haven't been having it adjusted right. We've been seeing fish all over the place and catching them. So actually on Monday, I took Manuel and Gary over here to Garcia Bend, fishing in the river with sardines. And I'd say by 11 o'clock, we caught way over our limit. We released, Manual caught about 12. And then we had some other smaller ones that were around that 8 that we released and kept a limit of like 4 to 7 pound fish. Those are the best size to eat. But we caught a lot of them. It was a lot of fun. And I actually showed them some techniques about bait fishing because when we first got there, Gary just put the hook in the middle of the bait. And I said, don't even waste your time throwing it out because it's going to spin in the water. So they learned a lot. We caught a lot of fish. I proved to them, that setting it up the right way is just not putting a piece of bait on and throwing it out. And they really learned a lot, and they should be able to go out and catch some fish. Then, the wind's been blowing. It started picking up. I took Jack out we launched at Brandon Island and we went over on the San Joaquin River. And same thing, looked at his graphs, turned them up, put a little power to them, got the picture a little bit. I showed him that, dirtying the screen up, but you see a lot more fish. And if you have a color unit, which everybody does, the fish are going to show up in red and yellow. So you could they stick out like a sore thumb. Well, anyway, we smacked them. We spooned the heck out of those fish. And we saw, and he also learned a lot because he had too light of a line. And then later in the day, I switched him over and he started catching them like crazy too. So, he learned a lot. Learned a lot about his electronics. We caught a lot of fish. And I posted pictures on Facebook of both these guys. And they had a good time. They learned a lot. They thanked me. And that's one of the things about my consulting is that I have one that I do for 2 hours on electronics only. So, I would meet you at a lake somewhere within 60 minutes of my house, go over your electronics. Most of the time I update them, reboot them, set them up for you, check your transducers, make sure they're on the boat correctly. And on my way, in 2 hours, I'm done. I'll teach you so much about your electronics that you never knew. Then I do one for 6 hours where I actually do your electronics and then also show you a technique of fishing. So Monday I showed them guys how to bait fish. Tuesday I showed Jack how to spoon. So you pick a style fishing, I'll let you know what's biting, and then we'll go and do it. And so anyway, on with the report. So I always start out in the ocean. The weather's been really bad. It's hard getting out there because the seas are so rough. But the bluefin tuna are here. So as soon as that window of opportunity, usually when we start getting warm, hot days, in the 90s and 100s, the ocean will calm down and guys will be going out there like crazy. So now's the time to go into your tackle store, get your line put on, go pick up some of them Mad Maxes that you're going to be throwing about 14 to 15 knots. And, the 200 seems to be the size that, everybody prefers, but a lot of guys use a big one too. So that's right around the corner as soon as the weather permits. Dungeness crab season is still open. I think it goes all the way into June. Check your regs and make sure. You can still only use nets. And also shallow water rock fishing. Check your regs because they open them and close this year. I see it opened May 1st, and then it's going to close in a month, I think, and then the deep water ones. So 20 Phantom is open now, which is 120 feet, and then I think next month it's 300 feet. So watch them regs and make sure you follow because they're going to open them and close them, open them and close them. So you surf fishermen, I haven't heard too much action going out there, but it retains to you guys too. So the season's open, so I imagine if you went out on the surf, you could probably catch some of them perch. They're probably hungry. So anyway, coming in a little further, we got, the halibut season is kicking off. It's been really good. It was kind of a hit and miss at first, but there's guys that have been catching them for a month already. The bait receivers are not open yet, so you're going to have to throw tray bait, and you rig it the same way. You could use an 8-inch Dodger if you want to, or a lot of guys will use those spinning ones. You don't even need one. You could actually just throw your sinker, which is going to be anywhere between probably 4 and 12 ounces, depends on the tide, how fast it's ripping, and use it like a 3-way. Yeah, I even use a sliding sinker, but you could use a 3-way with a dropper, and then about a 3 or 4 foot leader, and then use a octopus hook with a treble as a stinger, and you're just throw it. You'll probably hook up. The bite's pretty good, and they were doing good in South Bay, but I heard they went to Central Bay. They're catching them already, and they're just plentiful down there. They're also picking up some stripers here and there in the bay, but most of them are in the river system. So if you want to go out halibut fishing and you've never done it before, you should contact one of the guides out there. There's quite a few of them: Jay Lopes, Steve Mitchell, Ricky Acosta. The Cal Don with James Smith is a big boat, hot boat. You won't get sick. All the other guys are all 6-pack. I think Steve has a little bit bigger boat. But you could Google any of those guys I mentioned and sign up. Because you better do it now, because season's going to get going here, and it's going to be hard to get a seat on the boat. So coming in the Delta a little bit more, with sturgeon fishing, a lot of guys pulled their boats out and left the biting fish. The fish are still biting. I see gate crashers with Zach in Virginia have been doing really good on them. So if you wanted to get on it and go sturgeon fishing right now, give Gate Crashers a call. He's on the net. You could Google him and sign up and go out there. They're doing really well. The stripers are from Rio Vista all the way to Calusa. There's some signs of some spawning fish already heading back, but a lot of the fish are not spawned yet. A lot of the males I've been catching are milking in the boat. As soon as you get them in the boat, they're milking all over the place. And I'd say I've been probably getting maybe for every 10 fish, maybe 2 females. So that's a sign that all the males will go first. They'll head upriver, and then the females will follow them. But normally there's a lot of big stripers up in Redding area. There's some in the Feather, some in the American, but a lot of them fish just live there all year round. They don't even come back. But there is a lot of stripers in the system. They've been doing a lot of smolt plants, and they haven't been mentioning it. They've been dumping a ton of them over at Eddowes. I was down there yesterday, and I was grafting big balls of bait, and I was thinking, what the heck? There's no bait around here like that right now. Maybe in the fall I do, but not now. So I heard just 2 days before that they dumped a bunch of salmon smolts over there by Eddowes, by the Antioch Bridge. And the tide will push them in and out. I'm sure they get chased around by the stripers. But I was grafting lots of balls of bait, and when the bait was on the bottom, I dropped the spoon down there and it's fish on. So there's a lot of food in the system for them. So those stripers are going to hang around for a while. So if you want to catch stripers, you could go up Wraith up at Calusa. He's probably booked solid, but they've been hammering them for over a month. Kevin Brock, those guys, you want to call them, you want to go up north, they're catching a lot of fish, and they've been doing it either on minnows, and then they throw fish traps at times. Shad, they're starting to enter the system. I have real good friends that have been catching a lot of them. They called me and told me a couple weeks ago, you better get down here if you want to catch them. So when I went striper fishing and caught my limit of stripers, I headed down by the American and dumped the anchor and tried for shad, and I fished for an hour first time and caught 10 of them, and they were probably 8 to 10 inches. They're little bitty males. Same thing with them. The males will come first. But I did get about a 3-4 pound hen, but all the rest of them were small. And then the following week I went again, and they're still small. And I'm watching these guys yank them in, and they're just a small male. So it's just the start of the season. probably going to go all the way to July this year with all this high water. So the shad fishing is really, really, really good. So other things happening down the delta is the bass fishing. I've been fishing so much striper that I haven't got down there enough. I go down there a couple of times a week. I went down there this last week with some clients and showed them some stuff on electronics and showed them some flipping techniques and actually chatterbaits. That's what they wanted to learn. And we caught quite a few. We had a good trip down there. We caught a lot of fish flipping. We started flipping, and as the tide was running and going out, we were catching them quite a few fish. And then about maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, that tide stopped. Those fish just quit. So once that water turned around, started going in, the bass bite turned off. So then we picked up and went inside the flooded islands and started catching a lot of stripers. So we had a really good day catching a lot of bass and a lot of stripers. So the delta seems to be pretty good right now. Lakes, the bass fishing is really good. Some of the lakes, the bass probably on beds, the smallmouth and spots probably might have spawned already. I know Don Paganelli's been going up to Berryessa and Folsom Lake and be doing very well. But you got all the mother lode lakes, Clear Lake's red hot, the swim baits, trash fish, those type of smaller 5-inch swim baits have been working real well. I'm sure you could go to Shasta, Oroville, and have 50 fish days. It's just that time of the year. We're in the spring, and you could basically go anywhere and catch any kind of fish. So, you know, the weather's at that temperature, water temperatures are warming up. One of the things about the delta when I was down there, though, I didn't notice a lot of the bass that we were catching, the tails weren't banned or anything. So they're not getting ready. I think maybe this next full moon you might see some, but right now a lot of them are not spawning yet. Trout, you know, that we're getting late in the year. The Sierras and stuff, I think the trout opener was last month or something, but you're able to get in there and they're actually doing pretty good in all the high Sierra lakes. But the local lakes around here, Collins, Pardee, Berryessa, Comanche, Amador, I don't think they're going to be planting anymore because the water temperatures are getting hot, warmer. So I think the trout fishing, they're still catching them. Big Nate's been catching the heck out of them at Berryessa and Comanche. He's doing that speed trolling with the optimizers and speedy shiners, but he's catching a ton of fish. He's catching some nice ones. You know, Berryessa was really hot for those Eagle Lake trout that they planted in there years ago, and some of them are getting pretty big. You know, you're catching 5-pound trout out of there, and you got to go like 3.5 to 4 miles an hour when you're trolling. And you could throw Rapalas, any kind of spoon. Like I said, the optimizer has been probably the top one. And catch trout, they're still catching them. So I assume as soon as the weather starts getting in the 90s, up in the 90s, then they'll go down deeper and it'll be a little bit harder to catch. So the trout fishing, you know, if you want to get out there, give Big Nate a call and he can put you on them. Kokanee, it's around the corner. It's actually started up already. New Melones has been the hot place. Kevin Fogel was up there last week, had one 19.5 inches and a couple of 17s. He's not slaughtering them, but he's getting some nice fish. There's some guides up there that have been doing well, and the fish seem to be, you know, in that 14 to 17 inch class of fish already. And that's big for this time of the year. I'm sure Pardee, I was up at Bowler's Bar 2 weeks ago, and 3 of us, and had 30 of them before 11 o'clock. Stampede, my cousin Donna's been going up there in a kayak. She's been up there, she went twice last week, got her limit pretty easy. So Stampede has been kind of hush-hush, but you could get in there no problem, and I'm sure it's red hot. So kokanee fishing is starting to bust wide open. So if that's one of the things you want to do, you need to start getting your stuff ready and get out there. Landlocked Kings. Folsom, Orville, Berryessa. Here again, Kevin was up there the other day checking it out, and he got a 12, I think he said, and a 8, but he caught some nice fish up there. And you know, any of the king salmon, I found that the best colors for me have been like white Dodgers. I use an 8-inch Dodger with a pearl hoochie and run 2 hooks. And I did some videos last month on how to set your hoochies up. I use a bobber stopper. It makes it a lot easier. I can set the hooks wherever I want. And you got to cure the anchovies, which I did a video last year. You cure the anchovies and cut a little piece and put it on the front hook only. Let the back hook freewheel, and you'll catch them. It's a right now. This is the time of the year when it really starts getting really good. So you could go to Folsom, Orville, and Berryessa around here and catch them. Probably even Shasta. Other than that, crappie. I started fooling around. I was up at Berryessa one day and showing a guy his electronics, and then we went fooled around and caught some crappie. They're shallow. They're in the back of the coves. They're getting ready to spawn. Don Paganelli called me the other day and said, hey, you better get up here because the crappie are on the move. He found them in 15 feet of water, and nice ones. So they're all bunched up, schooled up. It looks like they're getting ready to go into the back of the major creeks and get ready to spawn. Clear Lake, I heard they were all over beds last week. So, you know, if you want to catch, that place has big crappie. If you want to catch 2-pound crappie, Clear Lake's the place to go. Another place I heard is Camp Far West. Buddy of mine, Pete, he was said he was up there, had friends up there. They were catching them up there. So that's another place that you don't hear too much about. But the bass fishing there is really good too, but they're not real big. But there's a lot of bass. So Berryessa also has a lot of perch. When I was up there, I went in the back of this one cove and I could see them everywhere. So they're up there ready to get to spawn also. And last year I did a video up there, and the biggest perch we caught was 2 pounds. There's some big ones in that lake. So if it's perch you want to catch, head to Berryessa. So anyway, you know, I'm sitting in the Duckworth boat. I took it out about 5 times already. Thing is really comfortable. Caught a lot of fish in it, and yeah, I want to thank Marco at Gone Fishing for, you know, wrapping this boat and letting me get out there doing some advertising. Anyway, if you need any kind of electronic boat repair, or you want to buy a new boat, go over to Gone Fishing and talk to Mark and tell him that I sent you, and he'll treat you. He'll probably even give you a deal. Then every Saturday morning at 6:40 on the AM dial on 1140, I'm on the SEP's California Sportsman's, and a little earlier than that, I might jump on with Kent Brown on his radio show in the morning. So, you know, if you're on your way fishing, tune in on 1140 on the AM dial. If you like this video, hit that like. Please subscribe because it'll really help me out a lot. And if you want to leave me a comment, I'll get back to you in a couple of days. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.